Well, welcome in once again, everybody, to another edition of the 19th Hole Podcast for Golfers. I'm your host, Dennis Silvers, and we've got a terrific show for you today, something that I personally am interested in, and I think a lot of our viewers are as well. Anyway, the weather here in Las Vegas is holding. We're officially into summer because we're in the beginning of June, and it's just absolutely great. So everybody, no excuses to get out and play some golf. The weather is nice. Sure, it's warm. It's going to get warmer. But, that's the way it is. I love June because, again, the official kickoff of summer, and it's my birthday month. So that's another reason to like it. Anyway, U.S. Open is starting in a couple of weeks at L.A. Country Club, Los Angeles Country Club, in Southern California, in Los Angeles. Wonderful club. Two great courses. I think they're playing on the East Course. I've been lucky enough to play out there. It's a very well-to-do private club. And interesting, I don't know if you would imagine this, where the club is located. They have guesstimated that this piece of property, where it is, might even be more now, is estimated to be worth between 6 and 9 billion, that's right, billion with a B, dollars. That is a lot of money. And like I say, with inflation going on now and everything crazy in California, it could even be more. So we'll see. But I'm really looking forward to the U.S. Open. It's a great tournament. They're going to have a great field, and they're going to be on a very good golf course. Anyway, as I mentioned, I want to bring up we're going to skip the usual bio information. We're going to get to that a little bit later. But I want to welcome our guest right now to the show. She is a golf course designer, and she lives in Canada, I believe in Ontario. And her name is Christine Fraser. And Christine, thanks for taking time out and coming on the show. Looking forward to having a great show with you.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. We've got some pictures I want to show you that you sent me, and I was kind of thrown for a loop a little bit. I thought they were going to be some of your vacation pictures in Hawaii, but apparently that was not the case. So let's bring up the first one on screen and tell everybody what this is, what it's all about.
Yeah, so this is a really special project to me because it is very historic in Canadian golf history. In Toronto, and I'm the first woman architect to have been given a role like this in Canada. So it's really special for me. Right on Lake Ontario, you can see the bluffs there. So the golf course has some incredible views. It's just it's a really special project.
That's absolutely beautiful there. All right, let's bring up the next one and give us a little information on this one. It's a beautiful shot. I love the sky.
Yeah, so this is one I took myself when one of my first visits I made to the Toronto Hunt Club, and this is the first hole. So you're walking along the first hole and you have the bluffs to your right the whole way along. And I just, at that moment, I really knew that this was a project that I wanted and wanted to go for and wanted to put my best foot forward. So this was my first impression of the golf course, and as you can see, it's a pretty nice one.
Oh, it's very nice. Why do they call it, Christine, the Hunt Club? Is it because they're hunting for birdies, quote unquote?
Hunting for absolutely birdies all day. But originally, 1843 was the founding date. This was originally an actual hunting
Really?
club.
Wow.
That's developed into a golf course. So no longer hunting per se, but they have a really great logo with the foxtails and the bugles. So
oh, that's great. There. Yeah, it looks beautiful. All right, let's bring up the other one. And what's this all about? Because again, it's another beautiful shot.
You're going to be inundated with the hunt because this is what I'm working on right now. And so my mind is always thinking about this project. And this is the final finishing hole. And as you can see, the lake is behind the green.
Just beautiful.
It's a nine-hole club, number one nine-hole club in Canada, number 34 in the world. So it's not too shabby. But this is the ninth hole, and it's really special. And I think with some small tweaks, we're gonna make this finishing hole really pop.
That is beautiful. Why is it only going to be 9 holes, though, Christine? And there's
So
nothing
this
wrong with that.
No, this golf club has been nine holes since its inception. They're very proud to be nine holes. It's in the middle of downtown Toronto, so
Wow.
land access is pretty scarce, and they
Yeah.
do really well with the amount of property that they have. So it's just an element that makes it really unique and memorable, and nothing wrong with good nine holes.
Oh, not at all. But when people think of 9 holes, they usually think of kind of an executive course type thing. This
Yeah,
is not
yeah.
an executive course.
No, absolutely not. This is a very high caliber golf club. And I think, as you said, nine holes kind of gets a bad rap. But the way
Yeah.
that the world is going these days, we need to be a little bit more mindful about our land consumption and alternate uses, and maybe non-traditional forms of golf becoming more forefront and
Yeah.
getting a little bit more
Yeah,
respect.
I agree with you. All right, our final picture is this, and I'm loving that bunker. My God.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be in that bunker, but
No.
it is a cool bunker. So these are very traditional bunkers at the Toronto Hunt. They were the impetus for this project because they've experienced a lot of degradation over the past decades. So as it is with a lot of clubs, you get sand buildup, you lose the lips, the
Right.
consistency goes, they don't drain anymore. So bunkers are a really big focus on this project.
Yeah, yeah, and if you're going to have a hazard, make it look beautiful, I think, and that certainly is beautiful. Well,
You got
congratulations!
it.
The pictures are absolutely stunning. Uh, Give us a little background on yourself, Christine. How you got into golf course design? I know you played golf in Division 1, and just give us our viewers a little background on you.
Yeah. So my grandparents actually bought a cornfield in the 70s, built, designed, and opened up a golf course
Wow,
outside of Toronto. So
wow.
golf has kind of been just in my life for as long as I can remember. And I ended up becoming quite good at golf. Went on a scholarship down in Florida, played D1.
Nice.
Wasn't good enough to keep playing golf at the end of my playing career, but knew that I wanted to stay in this industry in some capacity. And so at that point, I went and I pursued a master's in landscape architecture. And I put the competitive golf and the landscape architecture together. And it just kind of, I got lucky and I landed a really cool gig over in the UK, studying and working under Martin Hawtrey. And he's in the past been the consulting architect for the RNA. So
Right.
I had access to the most incredible golf courses when I was over there, you name it. So that was kind of my introduction to golf and my learnings about golf architecture. And I'm back in Canada now, opened up my own firm and trying to give it a go on my own.
That is crazy. How did you get hooked up with the doctor? Because he's got a really impressive list of golf courses throughout Europe. I've been fortunate enough to play a number of them, but how did you come about to get put under his wing, so to speak?
Oh, you'll love the story. So during my third year of my master's, you have to write a thesis. And part of that is doing a lot of research. And I had come across his name countless times in the library and doing my studies online. So I knew about Martin Hawtrey, and I had been given some scholarship money from the Stanley Thompson Society. Stanley Thompson is a very well-known Canadian golf architect, and I took that money and I went to Scotland and I played golf and I called it data collection. And on that trip, on that very life-changing, pivotal trip, it was my
Yeah,
first time playing links golf, first time experiencing links golf. I was interviewing a superintendent over there, and he said, sorry, I have to stop our interview. I have to take this call. And I knew that Martin Hawtrey was the architect at
right.
this property that I was visiting. And after he was off the call, I said, you said Martin, do you mean Martin Hawtrey? And I was just like completely geeking out that he had been speaking with Martin Hawtrey on the phone because of all my research I had been doing, and his name comes up, and his father's name, his grandfather's name. And he put me in touch, and we had a really great phone call. And Martin said, "I'm going to be over in Toronto next month. Do you want to meet?" And that was just the most serendipitous moment,
Yeah.
beginning of our beautiful friendship that has evolved.
Oh, that's great. That's a great story. Great story.
Yeah.
You have a very interesting philosophy, Christine, in my opinion, when it comes to course design, which we'll chat about a little bit later in the show. But first, why do you think there are so few women in the field of golf course design?
Yeah, there aren't many, are there? How many do you know?
I know, besides yourself, two other women.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just women don't often feel very super comfortable in a golf atmosphere
Uh huh.
unless they've been fortunate enough, like me, to have someone who's introduced them to the game and really
Right.
guided them through that process to where they can find a safe space within golf. And that's not always the case. Golf has been traditionally male dominated in
Right.
all aspects of the industry, from journalism to caddying to architecture to head professionals across the board. So it's been difficult, and I think there have been women architects before me. We don't often hear too much about them, but women have had their hand in a lot of some of the great courses that we know. Cypress, Pastiempo,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Alice Nye is an icon, one of my heroes. So we're working on breaking down those barriers.
Yeah, yeah, and it goes all the way back to say Alice Dye. I know she was very instrumental in Pete's philosophy. I've had the
Absolutely.
privilege of interviewing both of them and stuff.
Oh wow.
Christine, other than being a woman,
Mm.
how do you separate yourself in what's really a pretty crowded field with architects and designers? You say, obviously dominated by men. So how do you separate yourself and, tell somebody, I need to do this project and sell
Yeah.
yourself? How do you do that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I spent a lot of time during my transition from living in the UK for 5 years when I moved back to Canada to try to find out how I wanted to differentiate myself in this, as you
Right.
say, very niche, crowded space of men. And I kind of landed on the philosophy of using golf in a different way, using golf architecture in a different way. I'm by no means revolutionizing golf architecture. I'm just using the tools and the concepts that we already have, but applying them in a different way. So,
Yeah.
considering women, considering people with adaptive needs,
Mm-hmm.
considering how we create sustainability environmentally, but also in participation rates and what
Right.
beginners need when they're learning how to play golf. So, just considering different marginal groups, and also using golf as a tool to really impact communities.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. You're going to be very interested in some of the commercials we run on the show that you'll see when you talk about adaptive golf, and I'm curious to
Yeah.
get your view on that. What's the most important part, Christine, of designing a golf course, be it public or be it private, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I think it's being a good listener and asking people what they need, and asking whether it be the membership or the community, how they want to use the space. So a big part of my design process is just really getting curious with the end user about what they like about the golf course, what they think could be improved, and really just I really think listening is such an important tool in golf architecture. And you don't read about that in any golf design book. So perhaps that's another thing that separates me from other architects.
Well, you do have an owner to listen to, don't you? I mean, it's great to get feedback from people who are going to play, but it really the owner of the property, the land
Hmm.
developer, uh, he he guides you a lot, doesn't he, as far as his desires
Or hers.
or hers?
But yeah, absolutely. I think whoever your client is, whoever your stakeholders are, they have to have a really big input into this process, and it has to be collaborative across the board, or else, you know, it becomes problematic, and it is
Yeah.
a long-term relationship,
Yeah.
and you're trying to figure out if you're compatible in the same way we do as humans. So you really have to share values and
Yeah.
make sure that you're on the same page.
Yeah. Have they ever gotten, in your experience, maybe too much hands on and they become a pain in the ass?
I would never say yes to that answer, that
Yeah.
question. Never get another job again, Dennis.
Oh, I like that. I like that. All right. Christine, stand by. We're going to take a short break here. And when we come back, we'll have a lot more with our terrific guest, Christine Fraser. Back right after this. The revolutionary Power to Golf Club requires no swing to hit golf shots from 50 up to 225 yards. That's right, no swing. It's empowering golfers with physical issues to continue enjoying time golfing with friends and family. With just the push of a button, the easy-to-use Power to Golf Club launches shots down the fairway and onto the green. Whether a physical issue or just want to join in on the fun, the Power to Golf Club is for you. Visit online, powergolfclub.com. All right, welcome back, everybody. Having a start of a great conversation with golf course architect Christine Fraser. Christine, what did you think of that commercial about the? Because you mentioned about adaptive golfers, about the Power Golf Club. Cool.
I'm so intrigued by that, actually. I'm fascinated. I think it's a wonderful idea.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's they're doing well with it, and like and the fellow who is the owner lives right here in Las Vegas, out at Lake Las Vegas, and like he keeps saying, they've got 6 million people, to get back in the game, whether they're paraplegic or whatever, some kind of disability, and it's very, very, very cool. Can you be a decent designer, architect, without having a golf background?
Yeah, absolutely. Martin Hawtrey, who's taught me everything I know, I never saw him touch a golf club the whole time I've known him. So yeah, I think the answer to that is yes.
Interesting. Is it harder, in your opinion, Christine, to design a course here in the States or in Europe, say because of environmental restrictions, water usage, land costs, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, I think I'd probably say the States, just because of the climate and access to water. Water is inevitably going to become more expensive or less accessible. So I think that's going to be a really big issue, concern for a lot of golf courses going forward.
Have you found the environmental concerns to be less in Europe as opposed to here in the States? Because here they've got some pretty, depending on what part of the country you're in, some pretty tough restrictions.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. I don't have a lot of experience as much as I do in the UK, but I think I would agree with the United States being a little bit more stringent on their environmental requirements.
Yeah, I absolutely believe that, especially here, like in Southern Nevada. And throughout the state of Nevada with, water usage. It's a very, very big concern here in Southern Nevada. They have cut back the usage with all of the golf courses, some of the hotel properties and stuff. I mean, we're doing, much better with it. They've restricted, how much you could water, your front lawn if you're lucky enough to have one now. So and it's very expensive.
Yes.
It's a huge
Yes.
expense for golf course, isn't it? As far as their water bill.
Absolutely. It is a huge expense and it's not getting any cheaper.
No, it's not. It's not getting any cheaper. Not at all. Uh, on your website, which I found very, very interesting, by the way, you have listed in your, for lack of a better term, your design philosophy, quote, "Come as you are." What the
Yeah.
hell does that mean?
It means we all have this idea of what a traditional golfer looks like. And that you might not resonate with that, or you might not think that that could be you. But what I'm trying to promote is that, you can just be yourself and play golf. Um, and that idea as coming as you are and coming with whatever quirks that you have or whatever past you have or whatever amount of money you have, is essentially irrelevant, and you will be welcomed in, and you will be valued for coming up and being authentic.
Well, that's true. That's true. I mean, you are who you are. Whether you're
Yeah, yeah, and golf sometimes expects you to be something very specific in terms of the clothes you wear, the language you use, the etiquette you follow.
right.
So just like breaking that down a little bit, removing some of those barriers to entry, and allowing people to, yes, come as they are.
Yeah, yeah. That. Do you swear on the golf course when you play golf?
Fuck yeah.
I absolutely love it. Excuse me. It took me by surprise a little bit. Uh, when you sit down with uh, the powers that be from, say, a municipality, a city, or the owner, the land developer, uh, how much engagement do you have with them in him or her relating to you what they would like to see coming out of this golf course? And if you disagree with their philosophy in one area or another, how do you broach that subject with them? You've got to be very
Yeah,
tactful, obviously.
absolutely. It's a constant balance because of course you want the job, but also you don't want to compromise in your design philosophies or in your personal philosophies. So it is a fine balance, and it's really important to understand the expectation of the client
Yeah,
before you get into the design, because um, for me, that's how I'm not going to be successful if I'm guessing at what you want.
right.
So it needs to be pretty clear about the expectations, of the final product, and not even the quality or the elements of that product, but the extent, like the scope of the project is important as well. And yeah, there's a lot of kind of finesse about the way that I try to encourage people to be more inclusive or more accessible,
Yeah.
um, or more open and inviting to women. And I can go about that by, talking numbers and talking revenue and
Mm-hmm.
talking about opening up target markets.
Mm-hmm.
And if you encourage more women to play golf, that affects your bottom line. So
Sure.
that's a
Yeah.
good way to go about it.
Yeah, that's still a huge market. I believe only 22 plus percent or something of golfers worldwide are only women, so it's a
It's
huge
untapped,
untapped market.
absolutely.
How do you, as a woman, how would you entice other women to start playing golf and continue with the game?
Yeah, I think first impressions are really important, and so being a good steward of the game of golf and making sure that you invite people to join you in a positive experience, and
Yeah.
whether that be something very small like going to lunch at your local golf course. You don't even
Uh
have to
huh.
pick up a club. You
Right.
just walk in the door, you get accustomed and acclimatized with a clubhouse, because a lot of that can be really quite intimidating for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So making sure you're helping people along the way, inviting people, hosting people, um, and also not not diving too deep right away. Start small, and that's why I love putting courses or
Yeah.
short game facilities
Hmm.
or par 3 courses where you can really make sure that the experience is positive rather than too difficult, losing too many balls, holding people up. Like that's not fun for everybody.
Yeah, no, that's not fun. You've got to make it. You got to slowly introduce it to them, and
Yeah.
so the game kind
Yeah.
of game kind of bites them. I'm curious to get your answer to this question, and I know a lot of people probably would be interested in this. When you start designing a course, who is the one that decides what kind of slope or what kind of rating you would
Yeah.
like to see after the course is rated? As you perfectly know, as far as slope, there's a minimum of 50 and it goes up
Yeah.
to, I think, a maximum of 150. Are you surprised I know
Hmm.
that?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, you
impressive.
are surprised I know that. See? Uh, who decides that? Say we're going to make this, pretty flat golf course.
Yeah.
Make it pretty easy, or we're going to make
Yeah.
this tough. We're going to have a lot of slope, tough, complex on the
Yeah. Yeah.
greens, a bunch of hazards, and that's another question I want to get to you. But how about that one? The slope and the rating?
This is a really interesting conversation that comes up on every single project because people are very attached to their slope and their rating, and they think that widening an approach or um, or shifting a hazard
Yeah,
or a new forward tee is going to make things too easy and how that's going to affect their slope. And there's really no data to support a lot of that rhetoric, essentially. Um, but it's not something that I think about when I'm actually doing the design. I want to make great golf holes, and what the slope or the rating is at the end of that is what it is. And so I don't often think too much about numbers. I like to be a bit more artistic and abstract and leave the numbers up to the governing bodies of wherever you're playing golf.
yeah, no, I understand. I'm sure the only number you're thinking about is what your fee is going to be for designing that particular
You
thing.
got it.
How do
Yeah.
you decide the placements of bunkers? How do you decide the placement of, say, grass bunkers? How do you decide
Mm.
whether it's going to be multi-level greens or flat? Maybe a placement of water, of a lake, of a brook. How do you decide that?
A really good place to start is to let the landscape guide you of what's already existing or
Yeah,
what's there and not try to be too forceful with the landscape and the contouring. So that's a great inspiration for me of a new site, especially of trying to uncover what's already existing and then sort of laying the golf course
yeah.
on top of that. A lot of it is intuition. A lot of it is artistic preference. Everything is subjective. So there's no right answer in this.
Well, do you have a? I'm trying to think of the word, but you take a tour player that starts designing courses, okay,
Mm.
and his primary shot might be a little fade, a little, left to right. He designs a golf course, and lo and behold, all of a sudden you see a lot of holes that you've got to hit it to left to right. Do you favor
Yeah.
something like that when you're thinking about a course?
No, not at all. I think that's probably poor design and not inclusive of everybody. And that's really what I'm trying to do is make golf courses playable
Yeah.
and enjoyable for everybody, no matter your skill level, no matter your age, no matter your gender. And so making sure golf has options of how you get from tee to green is one way of doing that. So you can pick your route based on your skill, based on the weather, based on the conditions. So strategic golf is a really great way to do that.
Hmm.
Just to create equity, and we want golf to be fun for everybody. We're
Yeah.
not going to penalize you for being a bad golfer.
Yeah.
Um, so I think your example of designing golf holes based on how you personally play golf is maybe steer clear of that.
Yeah, yeah. Last question before we take our next break, Christine. I think, just my opinion, that one of the most important things in designing, in building a golf course, is the routing. Would you agree with that? And what is the process for viewers when you start routing a golf course?
Yeah, I think if your routing's bad, then you're never going to have a great golf course. So routing is so important in that sense. And the way I look at it is you're telling a story with the routing. If you think of the plot of a movie or the plot of a book, there's progression and there's climax and there's a protagonist and there's a big risk that you have to take, and it is really guiding the golfer on that journey, and the routing is the way to do that. So routings are really important. They set the tone for the round,
Yeah.
and something that an architect considers very seriously.
You've got to be out there pretty much when the golf course is being routed, don't you, to make sure
Oh yeah,
it's a
yeah,
dogleg right or whatever. So you're probably on top of it
absolutely.
all the time.
Boots on the ground.
Yeah, yeah. Do you ever drive a tractor and move some of that dirt yourself and get down?
I'm not insured for that, so they don't let me. It's a danger to everyone.
Oh my gosh. All right, Christine, stand by. We're going to take another short break here on the 19th Hole Podcast for Golfers. And we come back. We're going to finish up with Christine Fraser. Be back right after this. Stay with us. One of the perks about being in golf media is that I get to try every club ever made. Of course, like most things, some are better than others. I'm here to tell you that I have found unquestionably the absolute best performing set of irons I have ever played, and my scores show it. Let me introduce you to Grindworks, custom fitted irons that are made to fit your game. Grindworks offers players 3 different styles of irons. You can choose muscleback irons, cavity back irons, and even blades, along with some awesome wedges. And when you purchase your clubs, Grindworks lets you choose the type of shaft you want, the type grip you prefer, and even will adjust the loft and lie of your clubs if needed. That's unheard of. So what are you waiting for? Feel the power and experience and performance of these amazing clubs. Simply go to grindworksusa.com or call 281-651-4046 to order. Trust me, your handicap will love you for it.
As golfers, we want instant gratification when it comes to a better golf swing and playing better golf. Impossible, you say? Not anymore. Golf Boost Artificial Intelligence (AI) has developed and patented the most advanced swing analysis technology in golf. Simply, the algorithms detect your body position and then analyze your golf swing using their artificial intelligence technology. The AI captures all the relevant data from your swing video and then presents you a personalized lesson. Golf Boost AI is the ultimate swing analysis and virtual instruction system for golfers of all ages and abilities. This sophisticated software takes into consideration your height and build, playing level, and returns the ideal solution for your swing. Bottom line, Golf Boost AI is an incredibly convenient and cost-effective tool for golfers to improve their swing. Go to golfboost.com and check it out. The app is free to download and try. Visit golfboost.com today.
All right, welcome back in, everybody, to more of the show. Christine Fraser is hanging here with us on the 19th Hole Podcast. A couple of old sayings, if you will, Christine, I want you to either dispel or agree with them. The first is players will often play a golf course that they consider to be a dog track. It's not in very good conditions, but they say the greens were awesome. So they're willing to forget the bad condition of the golf course because the greens were great. Do you agree with that?
I mean, if that's what they think, then that's great. If they're going to keep playing golf because the greens are great, that's good. If you're someone who cares about a forward tee or a tee that enables you to play a set of forward tees for your ability, and that's more important, then I would go looking for a course that has a proper forward tee program. So
Yeah,
to
yeah.
each their own.
Yeah, you put something in my head right now. I want to ask you. I have played many golf courses. Some have as many as 5 sets of tees, which I think is
Mm,
ridiculous. Others only have 2 sets of tees. Why do you
yeah.
think that is?
Um, Originally, golf had one tee, and everyone played for one tee. And as golf kind of evolved, different types of people started playing and different
Hmm.
abilities and different
Hmm.
ages, and golf has sort of adapted to accommodate those people. And I think that's still a part of the process that we're trying to evolve and make golf more inviting and inclusive of more people.
Yeah.
So I'm for tees that suit the needs of more people.
Yeah, yeah, like you said, they want to have fun. They don't want to make it too tough. So,
Yeah.
say so they could come back and stuff. The other expression is, and I believe it to be true to some degree, but you hear people play a course that they say this is a great second shot golf course. Do you agree with that, or
What
believe
does
in
that
that?
mean? So can you explain that to me a little bit?
Well, they'll hit a good tee shot, but they may have to work the ball a little bit from left to right or right to left.
Mm,
Uh, the you know the green maybe is surrounded by a lot of bunkers or a water
yeah,
hazard or something. So you gotta hit your second shot pretty damn well to hit the green. So they said,
I
yeah, it's a
see.
good second shot golf course.
Yeah, that's interesting. So the drives are kind of straightforward, and then the
Yeah,
second shot
yeah,
is where you have to play your game.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I think there's some merit to that. I also think the amount of people who are consistently reaching greens in regulation is a lot smaller than you would
Well, I,
think.
I agree with
So it's
that.
a it's a pretty small target or group of people that you're talking about. But um, yeah, I think generally, if the golf course asks you to make different variety, different types of shots, then that's a good thing.
Yeah, that I think it's a good thing. Yeah, and what? By the way, what do you think of? You can call it a trend.
Mm,
Some golf industry people think that instead of having 18 holes, they should either just 9 holes is enough, or cut it back to 12 holes. It's a hell of a lot cheaper in a lot of
yeah.
ways for an owner. Do you see any truth in that?
Yeah, I think it's really exciting to see how golf is evolving away from this traditional 18-hole concept, and I think there's a lot of merit to that. And if it were up to me, I'd rather have 14 exceptional holes than
Hmm.
18 mediocre holes. So
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree with you. I agree with you that. Do you think we need more par 3 courses around? I do. I think they're great
I
practice and they could be great fun.
there's a lot of benefit to that. It's really important to have good entry points into the game for new
Definitely,
golfers and beginners, and municipal golf courses do that, par 3 courses do that.
definitely.
So I think they are vital to the sustainability of golf as a whole. No one is joining a club with an initiation fee of $20,000 without learning how to play golf
Right,
first. So we
right,
need those.
right. Are you desirous of coming and doing a course in the States anywhere? Are you
Yeah,
trying to
come
do
on. Do
that?
you have an extra 100 acres you can give me?
Are you trying to contact people to get here to do a course somewhere?
I am. I'd love to do that, and not necessarily a new course because I'm not sure, if we need that at this point in time, depending on what it is. But a course that could be modernized or could be evolved to consider women, consider juniors in a bit more focused way. I'd love to do that.
Yeah, Yeah, no, that would be great. I wish you the best in that because there's a lot of courses that need a little redo, if you will.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The problem, not a problem, but a lot of people think if Christine comes in and touches up the golf course, it loses all its originality. Do you agree with that?
No, I disagree. I think I'm pretty sensitive and respectful of existing properties, and what I'm trying to do is refine, not completely renovate. A lot of my work is just refining. It's making very small changes that have a
Yeah.
big impact.
Yeah. All right. That's a great way to look at it. What kind of feedback do you like to hear from people who play one of your golf courses? If you design a course, what do you look for when you ask them, "Hey, how'd you enjoy it? Did you have a good experience?" Blah blah blah. What do you look for?
Yeah, I think the word that you've hit on is experience. How was your experience? Not how many birdies did you make, not how hard was it. It was, did you have a nice day?
Yeah.
Was the experience good? Were the walks between holes pleasurable?
Right.
Was the conversation good? Were you able to, be vulnerable and have some possibility for human development and good conversation? So if you're walking away with a good experience, whatever that is for you, I would see that as a massive success.
When you finish designing a golf course, redoing a golf course, whatever, do you play it? Do you actually play around there to see what you've done?
Yeah, it's a pretty surreal experience, actually. I haven't got to do that too many times, but the few times I have, it's been really special, and I'm able to put on my golfer's hat again and leave my architecture hat to the side, and just really enjoy something that I've created with my hands and my mind. So
Yeah.
it's extremely satisfying.
Yeah, that is not a golf hat you're wearing now, if I'm not mistaken, right?
No, it's not. It's not.
Anyway, before I let you go, last question. Somebody told me that you're going to Scotland pretty soon. What's that all about?
Oh my gosh, I am so excited for this. So my grandmother is Scottish. She's recently turned 90.
Oh, fantastic.
And has been hinting about this, dream one last trip home while she's able. So her and I are renting a car. We're doing a
Awesome.
10-day road trip across the country, going to see
Awesome.
some family and just, drink some Guinness and do some touristy things.
That's really, really good. Now, what, you leaving pretty soon? That's great.
Next week, next week.
Fantastic.
So if you're in Scotland,
Oh, that is fantastic. Good for you. I'm sure you'll have a great time. Then you're taking a short breather and then coming here to play some golf, right?
apparently that is on the schedule.
Okay. Somebody wants to get a hold of you and ask you
Yes.
about redesign or whatever. What's the best way to get a hold of you, Christine?
Yeah, please do email me. You can find that on my website, christinefraserdesign.com.
You got it. You got it. Thanks so much for being on the show. Absolutely delightful. Good information. We wish you all the best going forward and have a great time in Scotland. And we'll get you back sooner than later. Thank you.
Absolutely my pleasure. Thanks so much, Dennis.
You're welcome, Christine. All right, Christine Fraser, everybody. Very, very nice young woman. All right, we're going to step away one more time, take a short break. We'll come back, wrap up the show. The revolutionary Power to Golf Club is helping golfers around the world continue to enjoy the greatest game of all. This amazing club requires no swing to hit shots from 50 up to 225 yards. That's right, no swing to hit shots, including fades, draws, low shots, as well as high ones. One incredible club does it all. Golfers with a wide variety of physical issues, including bad backs, hips, shoulders, and more, are now back in the game golfing with friends and family. Just set the club to the desired distance, and with a push of the button, the easy-to-use Power to Golf Club launches shots down the fairway and onto the green. The Power to Golf Club has been endorsed by some of the biggest names in golf, and the number of golfers enjoying the game by use of our unique technology continues to grow. Whether a physical issue or just want to join in on the fun, the Power to Golf Club is for you. Don't be left on the sidelines. Get back in the game today. Visit at powergolfclub.com. Hi, I'm Dennis Silvers, host of the 19th Hole Podcast for Golfers, and I'm here to tell you about some great wedges and putters from Grindworks USA. First, the Grindworks Barrett Collection Wedge Set. These wedges are unparalleled in today's market. The wedges come to you in 3 different lofts, 51, 57, and 61 degrees, all designed to be able to spin around the greens with the ability to hit high, middle, or low shots around the greens. Grindworks also makes a line of their Windsor Wells precision machine putters. This beautiful design of putter was not only created to be appealing to the eye, but to perform better on the greens. You will gain a ton of confidence to help lower your scores. Go to grindworksusa.com or call 281-651-4046. I promise your scores will love you for it. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of the 19th Hole Podcast for Golfers. I'm Dennis Silvers, your host, and I'm trying to get somebody that's connected with the upcoming U.S. Open at Los Angeles Country Club, either somebody from the tour or maybe the general manager there or something on the show next week to talk about the setup and so on and so forth. But we will have somebody good for you. You know that. So until then, get out and play some golf, keep it in the short stuff, and we'll see you back soon. So long.